What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. It is the starting 11 for tomorrow's big game in Zagreb against Dinamo. It's match day 6 in the Champions League. Celtic are currently sitting on 8 points, and this game represents a huge opportunity for us to get more points on the board and hopefully take a massive step towards securing that playoff place. We come into it off the back of that 3-0 win over Hibs at the weekend. We talked about it at length in the post-match pint. A bit of a strange game. I think Brendan Rodgers said after it that the pressing was nowhere near where he would have liked it to be. That can sometimes happen when you make changes to the team. It's not always plain sailing when you do that. I think that's why Hibs managed to get in behind us so often. Having seen the game back and watched the highlights back, the relationship between Scales and Trusty seemed a wee bit off. Scales was jumping up to press, and Hibs were finding that space in behind, and they should have hurt us really, but for Kasper Schmeichel's brilliant saves. So not an all-round well-polished performance, but we still ran out comfortable winners, played some good stuff going forward, could actually have had more goals as well. But back to Champions League duty, where we know the level is going to be higher. Dinamo Zagreb are not in good form. They haven't won in their last 5 matches. They drew 1 each against Slaven at home in the Croatian top flight on Friday. So they're having a bit of a sticky patch. Their last Champions League game was against Dortmund at home. They lost it 3-0. Their other home Champions League game was against Monaco, where they were 2-0 up and pegged back to 2-2. They're a point behind us on 7 in the table. I think this game is going to be a real battle for the team going over to Zagreb. Obviously, the away form for Celtic isn't great in this competition, but we've got to take something from that 0-0 draw that we got in Bergamo. That's something to build on in terms of the defensive performance that night. It's easy to look at this game and look at Dinamo's form and think this is a game that we should go and win, but given our history in this competition away from home, I don't need to tell you that you know how these games can sometimes pan out. We're going to have to be at our absolute highest level to get anything. Dinamo Zagreb have recovered pretty well to be 1 point behind us on 7 since they were beat 9-2 in the opening match day by Bayern Munich. They do have some key players out injured. Susic, for example, 21-year-old Croatian midfielder. I know he's one of the key players they have missing for this game. Up front, they've got a threat in Sandro Kalenovic, who's their top scorer with 8 goals. They've also got Bruno Petkovic, who's a slightly older centre forward, bigger physical presence. I know they've got Baterina on the right-hand side as well, who's a good player for them. He scored a great goal in their 2-2 draw against Monaco in an earlier match day as well. So I don't expect this game to be easy by any means. It's going to be very difficult going to a place like this away in Europe. But as I say, we've got to take something from our Champions League form so far this season, and hopefully we can get another positive result on the road, because we're in the process of building back some sort of credibility with the home form. 4 Champions League games at home unbeaten now, and hopefully we can build off the back of that draw in Bergamo and go and get another positive result. Obviously, if we can get 3 points, it'll just about certainly secure us a playoff place, but even getting a point on the road again would be a really good result for us. I'd take our chances though. I think this is a game we can go and win if we get it right, if everybody's at their top level collectively and individually. I do think we can go and win this game. That's not to underestimate it. It's obviously going to be very difficult, but I think we've got it in us, and I'd love to see us win away from home in Europe. In terms of the team, you'd expect Brendan Rodgers to go back somewhere close to full strength. As I say, I think the centre-half pairing just looked a wee bit rusty at the weekend. You'd obviously expect Carter Vickers to come back in, which we'll come to in a minute. And then he's got big calls at left-back with Taylor or Valle, and in midfield as well. Let me know in the comments if you think the team does pick itself. I spoke to a few people at the weekend and they were like, I don't think there's actually many headaches for him. I think that the full strength starting 11 does pick itself, but we'll start in goals as we always do with Kasper Schmeichel, who he was man of the match at the weekend. Very rare for a Celtic goalkeeper to be man of the match in a home league game, but he definitely earned his money at the weekend. A number of fine saves, one-on-one, where you need your goalkeeper to stand up when the defence is beaten, and he done that time and time again. He made numerous brilliant saves, deserved his man of the match award, and we know that he's there to do that. But again, also in this game, you would think when against a higher level opposition, they might come after us, them being the home team. His ability on the ball in terms of helping us play out is going to be key as well, but we are going to need him to make saves at some point in the game. You think about any results Celtic have ever had in Europe, particularly away from home, you need your goalkeeper to have a big night, and hopefully Kasper can have another one on Tuesday. Back 4, I'm going Johnston, Carter Vickers, Trusty and Valle. So I think obviously no surprises to see Trusty going to the left-hand side, Cameron Carter-Vickers coming back in after getting the weekend off against Hibs. He's a huge player for us, but I think the big decision in the back four is obviously at left back, where Taylor done brilliantly off the bench at Pittodrie, started again at the weekend. I think he was good. He grew into the game. I think in the first half, obviously there's a lot coming down that side. I think that was more to do with the positioning the scales at times, going to press and leaving that gap in behind him, and that relationship with Trusty than Taylor particularly. I think Taylor done a lot of good attacking work going into midfield and playing a lot of passes, but I think for this game, just off the basis of his performance against Atalanta and Bergamo, I'm going to say the manager will go with Alex Valle from the start. That brings into midfield Callum McGregor, captain the team. Obviously, I'm going to go with Hatate in front of him, and I think it's got to be Paulo Bernardo. Obviously, his intensity off the ball is really good in terms of his pressing, which is obviously going to be really important for us in a game like this. I just think Engels, too many games have passed him by recently. We're obviously going to need lots of running in midfield, and we know that he is a powerful runner, but I just think even on the ball at times, but particularly off the ball as well. You think back to that Bruges game. Bruges causes real problems with their shape, and I think the game defensively passed Engels by as well. So I think right now the player in form is Bernardo. He's got to start this game, and we're going to need huge performances out of the midfield, and they're up against the Zagreb midfield. That's going to be a key battle area, as it always is. Hatate's been in decent form. Again, off the bench at the weekend, which he should be fresh coming into this one. Need a big performance physically out of him. I know that sometimes people think that as we get into the second half, Rio Hatate can tire and he gets sloppy on the ball. We're going to need to be so clean and tidy on the ball and look after it, because if we turn it over at this level and we let teams in behind us the way we did with Hibs at the weekend, a team like Zagreb will punish us. So we need top performances out of all those guys in midfield. Please let me know in the comments if you disagree. Do you see anyone else coming in to start in midfield? Front three, I think, picks itself as well. Kuhn on the right hand side, provided he's okay after coming off at half time on Saturday, and then Dijsselmeid on the left, and Kyogo through the middle after coming off the bench to get a brilliant goal against Hibs at the weekend. He should be fresh. He's obviously going to need to do a hell of a lot of pressing away from home in a Champions League game, but you see that quality that he has with that finish, the touch to control it in mid-air like that, and then the wee feint before dink over the goalkeeper. That shows you the quality that he's got. Those are the kind of goals that we've come to associate with Kyogo Furuhashi since he arrived at Celtic. Hopefully he can find one of them on Tuesday night, because it would be a historic goal if it can get us a point or even all three away from home in a tough Champions League game. Those three are going to have to work their socks off, obviously, in terms of pressing. The manager never shuts up about how important pressing is at this level and setting the tempo, even in setting the way you attack, the way you pass the ball. You've got to get pressing right, and we didn't do that at the weekend, so everybody's going to have to be right at it tomorrow night. And I think those three need to have big nights. Kuhn, hopefully he can create some magic for us if he gets isolated in those wide areas up against his fullback. And we need better out of Dijsselmeid. I think he's looked a wee bit tired recently. We're going to need a big effort out of him in terms of pressing, but hopefully a bit more quality with the ball in the final third in those decisive areas as well. But that's the team I think Brendan Rodgers is going to go with. I'm really looking forward to going out to Croatia. It's obviously a huge game for us, and if we can get something from it, we'll be in a brilliant position going into these last two games against Young Boys and Aston Villa. If you disagree with any positions, let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you in Croatia tomorrow. Thank you.